Welcome to part 2 of Let's Clean Cars. Oh dang it, I forgot to get the key to the gate. Next up today is a 124 Spider. I'm going to do the same thing as the S2000. Getting a little bit of a late start today. Last night after the S2000, instead of taking this thing out, started editing the film for the S2000 so I could kick that out. And for whatever reason, it didn't upload. Don't know why. Came in this morning, played around with it a little bit more, changed some of the cropping on it, because in the beginning I had the main screen, and then I had like a little picture-in-picture of the car driving portion of it, and I don't know, maybe it didn't like that, so instead I did like a split screen. As you guys hopefully have seen that video already. I don't know, it's still chewing on it as of now. Although I did get an error on the upload before. Now I'm not getting that error, so I don't know, maybe I changed it in the right way. Don't know. Anyways, let's get moving on this thing. But before I pull that thing out, fill up tires, check the fluids, that kind of stuff, I want to get that Jeep out. Because if I get that Jeep out and I get that lined up, then it's just a matter of take this down there and do that, take the Jeep down there and do that, and maybe I can get both of them done in one day instead of doing a car a day. Okay, so in order to do that, I am going to take this and put it outside. But then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Camaro and put it over there where the 124 is. That'll allow me to pull the El Camino all the way forward. Then I can pull the Mustang out, put that outside, and then pull the Jeep out, not forgetting that the 2-stacker in the front right here is not up on its highest click. So I got to get the forklift out, got to raise that up, get the forklift out, drive underneath of it, and then push up on it with the forklift because, you know, stacker life, I guess. I don't know. It's the way these lifts, that I don't know what it is. Wildfire, I talked to them a couple times, talked to the installer a couple times. It makes no sense, especially these two cars here are extremely light, even though they're big cars. Neither one of them has, oh, that one actually has an engine in it. But I mean, they're pretty stripped down. The front end's missing off that one, bumpers, that kind of stuff. This one has no drivetrain in it whatsoever. They're really not all that heavy of a car, but when that stacker tries to lift up all the way to the top, it comes about a ½ inch short of clicking on that top click. I've dealt with that the whole time I've owned these. I just drive underneath it with the forklift, raise the thing up, and the front half of the forks, you know, it's got that little kind of safety cage there in front that goes up, just touches it, and then it boop, pushes it up, and click, click, they click in. No big deal. Kind of a pain when you're by yourself and you need to lower the cars down. Anyways, getting too involved. Let's get these cars moved. No electric top on that one. Let's, before we do the driving, let's do a quick walk around on this one like we did the S2000, and I'll show you some of the features of this fine automobile. Let's get this out of there. And then this thing's got a, I hope that's an LC. Where's the, got a button? Oh. But apparently the key being sitting in the car isn't enough to allow that to work. Okay. Let's try holding that down. There we go. I'll tell you, this car, you shut it off and walk away from this thing for 1 second and then immediately locks. The key was sitting in the car, but it wouldn't allow me to pop the trunk from the outside, even though I was just literally got out of the car. And I guess they were worried that people were really going to be tearing off with these things. Okay, let's do a little walk around. What do you say? Okay. All right. Here we go. Now this is a 20, without showing you guys the VIN, because it's a 20. This is a 2020 Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. Important because that changes the motor and suspension and transmission and that kind of stuff. So this car basically was a collaboration with Mazda. They got together because they know, just like the S2000, the sales on it are a little bit on the low side. Just because it's, again, two-seater convertible, not a large market for these cars, but yet there's still enough people to make it worth building. So what Mazda and Fiat did was they got together and they said, hey, let's make one chassis and then we can skin it in two different ways, just like the Scion FRS and the Subaru BRZ, which I guess now it's the 86, the Toyota 86. Anyways, same thing. They just collaborated and said, hey, let's share some stuff, make the manufacturing process cheaper, make the parts more affordable, because we're building, you know, a bunch of different cars. So that's what they did. So basically this is a Mazda MX-5 with a different engine, different transmission, different suspension than the Mazda. So you do get different stuff by buying this one over the Mazda. So you get this really nice Alcantara. It's got the center cup holders there that work okay, I guess. It does have Bluetooth connectivity as far as your phone goes. There's no Apple CarPlay or anything in this. It does have a backup camera. Gauges are pretty cool. It's got a 6-speed manual in it. You know, that's really about it. No electric top on this one. This one you gotta, I think it's this here. Yeah, there you go. And then you just, it's real light. You just pull it up by hand and then it clicks down. So the top actually, this is not too bad. Although the top on the S2000, in my mind, is a little bit more convenient because it is electric. So you don't got to reach back and try and fold this thing up. You can just, you know, put the top up. So trunk on this one's pretty spacious, especially over the S2000. S2000's a little bit small. This one's got a little bit more space in it. The motor on this one, let's pop the hood. I'm not extremely familiar with these, so as far as what the exact, you know, all the exact specs and stuff on this thing, I'm not 100% on. But let me set you guys down here for a second. There we go. And then I'll grab you again when I get the hood open. Let's see here. So So, let me just look at the emissions tag here real quick. Vehicle emissions, 1.4 liter, turbocharged. So even though it is a small displacement 4-cylinder, it is turbocharged, which is kind of cool. Well, it is cool. Again, we did a cold air on this one as well. AFE power on both of them. And then this one also has a fast bits, some fast bits pieces on it. Anyways, yeah, that's it on this one. Typical modern car. Engine's packed in there with a whole bunch of hoses and stuff. So now you can kind of see why on the Camaro, I'm trying to not do this. Trying to make that motor as clean as possible and look like an old classic car, because I don't want it to look like a modern engine. And if I just threw it together factory, this is what it would look like. So, looks aren't everything, but you can still do your best to build the best. At least that's the way I feel. So, but yeah. Okay. Okay, let me throw some GoPros in this thing. I've got them charged up since yesterday. I'm going to check that S2000 video, make sure that uploaded, and there's no problems with that. Hopefully I'm not fighting with that thing, and then throw some cameras in there, take it over, put some gas in it, and get it washed, and then come back. Do the same thing with the Jeep. Jeep's gonna be a little bit different because that one won't go through that car wash. I gotta take it to a separate car wash where they actually do a hand wash to it. So that Jeep's gonna be a little different. I'll still throw you in the window. We'll still go for a ride. So, all right guys, give me a minute. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna go to the same car wash. Probably a different place to get lunch though today. Oh, wait for this cement mixer. He's a little bigger than I am. Don't want to be, messing around with cement mixers. Or the heavy haul trucks, man. Nice low boy. So I finally got that Honda video out. That took lots of time editing. There we go. Lots of time editing that video. One thing I noticed between my videos and a lot of other guys is they'll do the drive-by videos, or they have the drones. And that kind of stuff to follow. I could do that, but here's the thing. This is heavy inner city. If I put a camera on the side of the road, it'd be gone before I turned around to get back in the car. So there's, absolutely no way I could do a flyby video unless I had a friend with me or something. I guess this car does pull all the way up to red line. Looks like red line on this car is about 6,500, somewhere around in there. It's that turbo, man. When that thing kicks in, gear's gone quick. And this is a 6-speed manual. Of course, you got to have it in sport mode. But and then as far as the drone thing goes, again, you're not, inner city, so you're flying drones and stuff around power poles, and you can't do it. So basically I'm not going to waste the money on it, because I'm not going to be able to really do that. But you know, I try and do as much as I can with the videos, like that split screen thing. I thought that was pretty cool. It took a lot of investigating on how to actually do that. Turns out not that hard. So that's cool. Learned something new. This car's a lot of fun. Again, this is the owner's favorite car, because he's like me. He loves to just, I mean, get after it, you know? And so if you're in a McLaren, which we had one, we had a 720S Spider, you know, you're in a McLaren and you're getting after it, you're doing like Mach 3. Oh. The other bad part about being a small car, you can't see around the car in front of you. It's alright, we'll just hang out right here. I was just gonna hang out, but then there's that guy in the left lane who knew the lane was coming to an end, but then he decides he's just gonna floor it and get next to me like I'm supposed to back off for him. You know, I'll tell you, this car, it does feel like it pulls a little harder than the S2000. You know, it's that turbo feel. Obviously, we've had the two cars next to each other; they are almost exactly matched. Now I don't know, maybe he was dogging it just to make me feel good, which I doubt. But these cars are pretty well matched to each other. This one does feel a little bit more peppier though, and probably, like I said, because of that turbo. But it is fun. Definitely. I know I drive them a little bit harder than the owner does. Well, at least when we're cruising, like, you know, going to the car wash. You know, usually when he's driving, he's just driving and having a good time. He likes just the feel of the convertible. You know, the wind in his hair and just hanging out. You know, having a good time. I mean, it's fun. I've never really been a convertible person. You know, I have 3 of them. But you know, it's I prefer more the hard tops. That's why I really like my 65 hard top over, you know, the 65 convertible one. And 65 convertible is a rusty mess, but the hard top just looks more like a muscle car. So, but this car is a lot of fun. When you get into these little 2-seater convertibles like this, though, they are pretty basic on controls, interior components, that kind of stuff. You're not getting a lot, just because of there's not a lot to really put in this thing. Start packing too much into it, there's gonna be no room for a driver. You know what I mean? So, but it does have the basics. I really think, especially being a 2020, that they could have done something a little bit more with the infotainment center. Especially doing like a Android Auto and like a CarPlay. I think that would have been better, but that would have made it a little nicer. You hear something like a rattly noise, like a jiggly jangly noise. I don't know if that's me or not, but yeah. I mean, these little convertibles. Look, if you've never driven one, you should go drive one. They are a lot of fun. You know, even if you got a big old family and stuff, these things really aren't that expensive. Yeah, the S2000 is a little pricey. You could probably pick up a Miata or like, you know, Abarth 124 pretty easily. Not too expensive. Take your wife out, cruise the whatever cruise place you got, beach, mountain, road, you know, whatever it is. Have a good time. You know, these things are a blast for that. That's what these cars are really about, just kind of enjoying your surroundings. This one, when it's cold, which it's not anymore, of course, kind of sounds like a boat. The exhaust that they put in these is got kind of a interesting tone to it. But after it warms up, I think the exhaust sounds pretty good. You know, it's hard to make a 4-cylinder sound good for one. But I think they did a pretty good job with this car. Does need more turbo noise though. I should look up to see if there's a silencer ring or something in it. Make some more turbo noise. All right, let's put the top up. Got the car washer coming. Time to put the top up. This car's definitely not as picky when it comes to the transmission. You know, that's the sad part about the S2000 really, is that the transmission is just so, you know, so wonky. It'd be nicer if it was a lot smoother, especially for a 7,000 mile car. You think that the transmission would be a little bit nicer. Oh, yeah.
Please wait while we verify your membership. Welcome to our car wash. Please select the car wash right. To complete your purchase, please insert cash or card.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. No.
The welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you too. Don't run the lady over. I like it's, you know, once you've already kind of gotten your body situated to the point where you're out of the car enough to push the buttons, they should just really just let you be. It's more of a pain at that point for her to come up. I don't know. Plus, you know, these days with all the crazy stuff going around, I don't want nobody touching my credit card. So you got the tap to pay. Let's see how long the GoPros last today. We'll probably make it to about the same spot. Today I'm not going to get lunch with the car because, you know, I don't want to go to Jack in the Box again. The lunch that I got yesterday was horrible. It's like they made the sandwich an hour ahead of time. You know, the double cheeseburger. Made the burger an hour ahead of time and let it sit there on the shelf, and then when they gave it to me, the tomatoes were basically liquid red puddles. You know, it was horrible. So I ain't going there again. It's always when this one guy works too that I always get these horrible, you know, you get a couple chicken strips and they were the most chintzy, skinny. I mean, it must have been an anorexic chicken. But that's what I always get when that one guy works. I don't understand it because, you know, the one guy that's working the window, he can't be making the food too, but it's only when he's working. I don't know, it's weird. Anyways, let's get through this car wash, the same as yesterday, and we'll do a little cruise back to the shop with the windows up, the top up. This car is a lot quieter, I think, than the S2000, so you know, top up on this car I think is a little bit better. Let's turn the fan down a bit here. I like how the controls are kind of just right there at your fingertips the whole time. It's pretty cool. And this lady behind me in this Lexus RX, she was behind me coming into the place, just banging her hands on the steering wheel. No patience. I don't know. I mean, it is 1:45 in the afternoon. Yeah, I was working on that Honda video for quite a while, so it's a little later in the afternoon. Maybe she got off work, she's just trying to go home. I don't know. You know, if you're trying to go home, maybe don't hit up the car wash if you're in such a hurry. But all right, windows are up, top's locked. See you guys on the other side. Fix the mirrors. All right. Man, that lady with that white Lexus, she was like 2 inches off my bumper. Yeah, I see you. You know, got a honk. I know you're scared. I'd be scared too, I guess. You gotta watch people around here. They just whip right out, man. They don't even look at all. They have the attitude as if they can't see you, then you're not there. Yeah. Get a little bit of break loose action in the back end. That's always fun. Where are you going? Okay. Yeah, really the thing is with this car, if you're gonna, it's not like one of the things about the S2000 I like is you can, like I was just doing little half throttle blips with that car. With this one, if you try and do that, it's kind of, you can't really play with it like, you can, but it's doggy. When you go to grab that shift, you know, the wastegate dumped the boost, and then you go to get back in the throttle, you have to wait a second. It's got to build that boost back again. And so the S2000's a little bit more fun when you're just trying to, you know, kind of goof around on the street a little bit. Where this one, again, you gotta really kind of, oh, you're still working. Hey, we made it this far, huh? You really gotta play a lot around with the RPMs a lot more. I can't believe the GoPros are still on. It's amazing. But yeah, so like really if you want to be sporty with this car, you have to get it up in the R's to stay being sporty with it, because that turbo, such a small displacement motor, and then you put a turbo on it to make up for that. You know, it's not as peppy when you're just trying to play with it and you're not trying to rev it out and race it. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know, I just prefer the S2000 a little bit more. That sound it makes, the high RPM range. This thing, you know, the S2000's got 1,500 more not horsepower, 1,500 more RPM than this car does. So, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're having to shift, you know, you never want to shift in a corner. Shift in a corner, you're going to upset the car. So you really got to pick your line, pick your speed, pick your gear, and then, you know, as you're exiting a corner, you can then at that point go ahead and shift, but you got to be through the corner. So with the S2000 being that it's got more RPM range, you have more flexibility to stay into the throttle a little bit harder and a little bit longer to get you through corners and, you know, that kind of stuff. Whereas this car, you got to know it a little bit better. That's what I was saying earlier when I was driving the S2000, is this one you got to drive it a little bit. It's a little harder to drive because you got to know the car well. You should always know a car well before you go throwing it into a corner, really, you know, throwing it into a corner. I'm not talking about just making a right or getting on the freeway. No, I'm talking about, you know, really pushing the limits of what the car can actually do. You go doing something like that to a car that you're unfamiliar with, odds are it's not going to end up very well for you, especially if you come in way too hot. And that's where I like the RPM in the S2000 a little bit more. It's a little bit more forgiving because if you did pick the wrong gear in the corner, you got a lot more room to play. Now, if you're low in your RPM range in the corner, not much you can do. You got to wait till you get out of the corner to go ahead and shift. Ooh, got a little second gear scratch. That's weird. I think maybe I was giving a little too much RPM before shifting, because when I'd shift, it was a little doggy right from the beginning, almost like no boost. On that first bit, when I chirped the tire, I had actually got into the rev limiter, which the computer probably dumped the boost on the rev limiter, which makes sense. But then on that next shift, I didn't get into the rev limiter, but it still kind of did the same thing. Let's try this again. Yeah, it does it pretty much. And that might actually be a throttle response. I can't remember if this one is a cable-driven throttle or if it's electronic throttle. What you'll find a lot with the modern cars, especially the electronic throttles, is that even though you've mashed your foot all the way to the floor, the computer says, no, we'll give you 3/4 throttle, and then we'll roll into the last quarter of that throttle, which takes away from the car a bit. They do that for reliability purposes. They do it for so that everything lasts longer. Drivetrain, isn't beat on as much. But then there's tuners out there. Like if you want to, something to help out with that. A great company is Gale Banks and Banks Power. They make a lot of throttle controllers, and I've known that company for a very, very long time. My wife actually works for them now, but I've known that company since the 90s when I was doing engineering work. And if there was something you wanted that they didn't quite make, you could actually reach out to them and offer up your vehicle. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to do it for everybody, but if there's something you want that they don't make and they're interested, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just you know, take your vehicle, obviously with your permission, and develop that product, whatever it is, whether it be tri-Y headers or a trans commander or, you know, some kind of throttle controller. And then a lot of times what they'll do is they just actually give you the product already installed on your car. Now, I don't want people to go out there and just, you know, call up banks and, you know, mob their telephone lines trying to get free product. But what I'm saying is that it's a great company. If you do need something like that, hit them up. Odds are they have something. Now, unfortunately, they don't have anything for the for this car, for my Mercedes, for the S2000. Of course, the S2000 is cable driven. This one might be cable driven. I'm not sure. Anyways, let me get the door open. We'll get this thing in the shop. We'll go through another walk around. I'll see you guys in a minute. Can't really hear the turbo on this one. I mean, you can a little bit. When you're driving it and you blip the throttle, you can hear it just a tad. That'd make this car a little bit more fun. Turbo noises. Who doesn't love turbo noises? Anyways, guys, that is the Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. You always tell the Abarth, red mirrors, and the little scorpion there on the fender. Neat little car, honestly. Now going back to the bank's conversation, don't go mobbing their phones trying to get free product. That's not what I was trying to say. My wife's gonna kill me, right? If you're looking for a throttle controller or really any performance part, check out their website. See if they've got something that'll help you. We've used their product for years. They're great products. Need to do a little bit of wiping on this thing. Got a little bit of their spray wax stuck to it. Let's see if this is where is the throttle on this thing? Let's see. That's the zoom 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 maker, and that goes in there, and that comes out, goes into an intercooler. Throttle doohickey is way back there in the back, and I believe it is electronic. That's what it looks like. So that could be the problem with this one, as far as shifting gears, having that slight delay before it gets back into the power. Again, a great solution for that is a throttle controller. And I know they don't make one because I've already asked about this car. I should see if they would engineer one for me. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this episode. A little bit quicker than the other one. Didn't go get lunch, although I still need to. Neat little car. A lot of fun. Great little weekend cruiser. Honestly, they don't cost that much. You could pick up a little Miata for next to nothing probably these days, especially if you get a little bit older one. Take your wife out, go cruising, you know, have a good time, put the top down, you know, feel like you're in your teens again, or 20s. I guess teens is a little bit much to ask for, you know, but maybe even early 30s you feel like, I don't know. But anyways, that's it. 124 Spider Abarth. Had a lot of fun. Hope you guys did too. As always, guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And then, as always, until next time.